Hi everyone, and welcome to my channel. This is actually a new channel and this is my first video. This is not the video I expected nor planned to be my first video. However, as it is a trending topic in K-pop right now, I felt it would be something I would touch on, especially as a stay. Now, first of all, as a stay, coming from a stay's perspective, I just want to say right now, we need to stop hating on other groups, talking badly about other groups, talking down on other groups, and their fandoms. Stays, we need to stop. Being a stay, I love this fandom. I love many things that it offers, like all the memes and the jokes, all the fun things. However, I hate the toxicity, and I hate that we are known for toxicity. Anyways, I thought I should just get right into the topic of today's video, which is the hate on IVE. I just want to clarify right now, I'm not a dive, nor do I really follow IVE in any way. I am just a casual listener of their music, and I really like their title tracks, and I also really like Kitsch. I know a lot of people don't like Kitsch, but I like Kitsch. So, also, I'll just clarify, yes, I am a stay, and also I'm a midzi, a mai, and an enser. So overall, I happen to stand groups that are very hated. So I understand what it's like to stand groups that are very hated. And I'm just so tired of all the hate towards groups, all the hate towards IVE, all the hate towards One Young. Like, it's so obnoxious and exhausting, and it needs to stop. IVE is constantly hated on, especially because of One Young. People paint her out to be rude, to be not a nice person, to be narcissistic, to only care about herself and only care about her appearance and not her performance or her fans or the fact that she's an idol. Like, she's constantly hated on. And IVE as a group is hated on more because of her. And they're also overall hated because, well, K-pop stans feel like there always needs to be a group that needs to be hated on. And we go through different cycles, and it's especially apparent in girl groups. As a mai, I remember the days of watching aespa constantly be berated for their lip syncing that they're forced to do, and people claiming that they can't sing because they lip sync when we all know that's not the truth, especially that they are from SM, which is known for vocals. And they're also hated on for their stage presence. And I can go into a whole video on aespa, and I don't need to right now, and I don't even think I really need to defend them because many people have defended them already. And if you watch their performances of Spicy, you'll see they improved a lot. And like, all the hate that they received has died down. Like, of course they're still hated on like any other group, but it's died down. And after aespa and mx was hated on for their concept, and I feel like that was very short-lived because a lot of people ended up just not talking about it, and there's many people who ended up liking OO after a while, so then that died down. Then the next thing was ITZY being hated on for sneakers, and then overall just like lackluster songs from 2022, especially since their song Voltage, which was a Japanese release, many people, myself included, feel that their song Voltage was better than their Korean releases from 2022. So, like, these three girl groups, and they're not the only girl groups that have been hated on in 2022, or not just 2022, but not the only groups that have been hated on. It's just simply that they have been main targets. And then now we got IVE. IVE have been hated on because, like I said, One Young, and there are many things. Iso was hated on. I don't even remember why Iso was hated on, but she's been hated on. Liz is currently being hated on because being quote unquote overweight when she is not. She is of a normal, healthy weight, and people need to stop talking about her body and other people's bodies. Similarly to that, One Young used to be hated on for being too skinny, and not just hated on, but there are people who did show true concern, but still it was unwarranted and unnecessary in many cases, especially with how people were talking about it almost like in a harassing way. And there are people who even edited her to look even skinnier, which is disgusting. Anyways, there are those things. And then the main focus of the current controversy is the bowing controversy. From what I could recall, it all started with One Young, of course. Everything that IVE seems to go back to her. She was not bowing deeply. A lot of international K-pop stans who are not Korean and aren't knowledgeable on Korean culture were looking at how different idols bow and doing their own research without fact-checking or anything of the sort, and came to the conclusion that One Young's tiny bows, the way she just bows her head down and not her whole body, they labeled it as rude. They said that she was not bowing correctly, especially to her seniors. And I just want to say, I haven't been like a K-pop stan for a long time, so I'm still learning new things. But I just want to say, the thing that really confused me was a lot of people were saying that she's not bowing correctly to her seniors. And I think we all need to realize that while One Young currently is in a rookie group, she was a part of a group that was a senior to all these other 4th gen groups. People keep saying she's not bowing to her seniors. Guys, she debuted before these other groups. So first of all, fact check yourselves and realize she is a senior idol. And I know other people are going to be like, oh well, but like she's an IVE and IVE is a rookie group. Doesn't matter. Look at with Seraphim. For like we got Chaewon and Sakura, and people always talk about how Sakura has like 10 years or something, like 10 years of idol experience. Even though she's in a rookie group, people view her as a well-seasoned idol who has idol experience because she does. So this is almost like a double standard. You see Sakura, who was a J-pop idol and in IZ*ONE before being in with Seraphim. You talk about her as this well-seasoned, very experienced idol who is beyond her years, and then you look at One Young, who is in IZ*ONE, who was one of the first 4th gen groups to be a rookie idol. It makes no sense. So first of all, I think it's wrong for people to say like she's not bowing to her seniors correctly because she is the senior. Also, I know the other thing people are going to mention is like, oh, she's like 18 or 19. I'm going to have to check on that, but she's young, and a lot of the other 4th gen idols are older than her. And I know that's a thing in Korean culture, but from what And once again, I just want to say, not I don't know much about Korean culture, and I know us as international fans, we don't, so we can get this wrong. But from what my understanding is, when it comes to K-pop, it's not always with age, it's with like seniority of groups and stuff. So like I understand people being mad at her, like being disrespectful to someone who is older than her. Like I get that, but one, she's not disrespectful. Two, she, like I said, debuted before these other groups, and when it comes to how idols treat each other, a lot of times it goes back to seniority of groups rather than age. Like, let me give an example. Since I stan multiple JYP groups, a lot of times I go back to the JYP groups, but I can give you a really good example. So, Bangchan from Stray Kids, he is currently 25 years old right now. He is one of the oldest fourth gen idols. So he's the same age as a lot of third gen idols. And I'm not sure how old Chewie from Twice is. They're like probably around the same age. He would still refer to her as Sumbinim. He refers to Twice as Sumbinim. Just some clarification. When it comes to honorifics in Korean, they go by the year you were born, not your actual age. And Bangchan was born in 1997, which is the same year as Jihyo and Mina. And Dahyun, Chaeyoung, and Jui were all born after him. So by that, he would not use honorifics like Nuna with them. And so more than half of Twice, because Twice has 9 members and that was 5, more than half of Twice is either by Korean age, the same age as Bangchan, or younger than him. So like he still calls them Sumbinim because Twice debuted before Stray Kids, not because they're older than him, because more than half of them are not older than him by Korean age. So that shows that has to do with the seniority of when a group debuts, not their ages. Because like I said, it goes back to the seniority of groups. So there's that. And I'm not well versed in this, so I'm not sure how other idols would refer to Wonyoung herself, but she's technically the senior to them because she debuted before them. So there's that. Now, the actual bowing itself, if we watch video clips, she doesn't bow deeply. She usually does like a 15-degree bow, or she just bows her head. And there have been people who were like berating her on it, saying like she's not doing the full 90-degree bow. There's even the clip of Soyeon doing a 90-degree bow towards her and towards other people, and they're like comparing her to Soyeon for not doing the 90-degree bow. But what I found out recently is, one, the 90-degree bow actually is not necessarily part of Korean culture. It came from Japanese culture, so it is not something that they deem to be necessary. And then second of all, with the 90-degree bow, she does not have to do that. Her doing a 15-degree bow is respectful, and if you look at other idols, a lot of them also do the 15-degree bow. The 90-degree bow would just be seen as an extra respectful thing. Like, you'll see clips of some of the youngest 4th gen idols like doing 90-degree bows towards other idols, especially 3rd gen idols. Like, there was a clip of, I think, a New Jeans member. I don't remember who it was. Might have been Minji, but I don't remember. There was a New Jeans member who did a 90-degree bow towards BTS, and that was like her way of showing a deeper respect, especially since they're both under HYBE. Like, of course, idols really respect and look up to groups that are under the same company as them. So there's that. But 90-degree bows are not necessary, and Wonyoung should not be hated on for not doing a 90-degree bow. I think it's ridiculous, especially since Koreans are not hating on her for this. Koreans themselves are defending her and are defending IVE because they probably think international K-pop stans are being ridiculous. We don't know the culture, and unless if we take the time out to properly learn the culture, we're going to be wrong, and we should not make assumptions like this, like that Wonyoung's being rude, and we should not hate on her or anyone for doing things with a culture that we ourselves do not know or understand, and it just needs to stop. And then now I'm gonna go into the more recent controversy. So, for anyone who doesn't know, Bangchan from Stray Kids, he was talking about Music Bank in Paris on his latest episode of Chan's Room, and what it was is that a stay commented asking him about Music Bank in Paris because he hasn't really talked about it, and one of his comments that he made was that there were younger idols that were being disrespectful, that that Stray Kids greeted younger idols and they did not greet them back, and that's seen as disrespectful. And I just want to first jump in and say I'm American, and in American culture that is rude. That is not a Korean thing. In fact, it's probably not even an American thing either. It's probably just a human thing. Someone greets you, you greet them back. And you don't need to be formal and fancy with it. Someone says hi, you say hi. You do a little wave, that's it. You acknowledge them because they spoke to you. And Bangchan, he was just commenting that they did not greet him back. He did not say anything about bowing or anything of the sort. He just said that backstage, the group greeted younger idols and did not receive a greeting back. That was it. He just needed a little 안녕하세요. He didn't need a whole full-on bow. He did not need them to do anything special. And I know special is not the right word, but you know what I mean. He did not need formalities. He just was saying it was kind of odd that he did not get, a little 안녕하세요, a little wave or anything. It was just, he was ignored. The group was ignored. And Stays, and I'm going to say Stays, I know people might attack me for this, but Stays started it. It's the truth. Stays started this mess. Stays jumped the gun and were like, well, we want to know who it was. And this was not the first time that Bangchan had talked about being disrespected like this. It first started with KCON in LA. So Stays were gathering evidence, as K-pop stans do. And they were like, look, besides Stray Kids, IVE is the only group, or one of the only groups, who is at both KCON in LA and Music Bank in Paris. So it's gotta be them. And then other stans were coming up with more evidence, they were going down the list of attendees at Music Bank in Paris and were saying why Bangchan just could not have been talking about those groups. Some of the groups are senior groups, so they were ruled out because the point was junior groups being disrespectful to senior groups. Then there were groups where some of the members were friends or are friends, I should say, of some of the members of Stray Kids. So it's like, that would make no sense. Like, they're friends. And then also, I even heard someone like defend P1 Harmony because Keho already was also talking about this, about being disrespected by younger groups. So like, it makes no sense. Like, it would be hypocritical if P1 Harmony would also be disrespectful. You know, like, stans were just putting things together, and there was a TikToker I was watching who defended P1 Harmony and went down the list of like why each group could have not been who Chan was talking about, and then finally she, without even explaining anything about IVE, was just like, IVE, you know. And like, Stays also found a video where Bangchan and Lino were running past IVE and they bowed towards IVE and IVE did not bow back. And this is not the only clip where IVE did not bow or did like the very bare minimum with greeting other idols. So Stays were like, we have our group, it's IVE. And then Dives were getting angry because they're like, you're like, Bangchan never said it was IVE and you're out here saying it is. And then it started this whole mess, and then Bangchan went on Instagram to apologize for the mess when he did not cause this mess, and he has every right to complain and to just, you know, talk about that he felt disrespected. He did not name any groups, and he did not want us to know who it was, and then also he said it was not IVE. So I must say, like, this is a lot to unpack, but I just must say, this was a mess that should have never happened, and I really need to stop being hated. Because I know there are people out here blaming Bangchan, there are people blaming Stays, and yes, I blame Stays, but also, overall, I blame the unnecessary hate on IVE. Because if it weren't that IVE were so hated, this probably wouldn't have happened or would not have happened in this magnitude. And it really, really, really saddened me when Bangchan did the apology and he straight up said, it's not, like, he didn't say word for word, it's not IVE, you know, he didn't name drop them, he just said, it's not the group you guys think it is. And I just think it's sad. I think it's sad that he basically had to say, like, you're hating on the wrong person, the wrong group, and this group, you know, we all know IVE are hated on to be hated on. They're hated on because they're hated on, and will continue to be hated on. That was a mouthful, and that probably makes no sense, but it's the truth. And we just need to stop. As someone who is a fan of multiple groups who are hated on, have been hated on, will continue to be hated on, I can tell you it is obnoxious. And a lot of times people hate on groups for dumb reasons or even no reason at all. And I think that's really the main thing with IVE. Like, think about it. One Young got hated on, bro. She eats a strawberry. Like, this group, people just find reasons to hate IVE, and I honestly don't understand it at all. And now, because of the situation, now Dives and other people are using it as a reason to hate on Bangchan when he did not intend on this happening. And I get that there's some people arguing that he probably should have just kept his mouth shut, but honestly, I think he had every right to say, like, you know, there were some idols who are being disrespectful, and I'm confused about it because it's odd. Because the thing is, Bangchan he even gave them the benefit of the doubt. Like, let's be for real. He even was like, oh, I might be a boomer, it might just be me, like, the whole way of respect might be different nowadays, you know? Like I said, he's one of the older idols under the fourth generation, and Like there could just be that gap. And also Stray Kids debuted the year 4th gen started, so they're like on the cusp of 3rd gen, and at one point they probably were considered 3rd gen. Like it's really a weird gray area. Which, by the way, that's a video I want to do, but that's for another day. So, like he probably felt like, oh, all these newly debuted groups, they're probably different with how they are. Also, something I have not heard anyone say that I just want to mention, like, I feel like people forget the whole dating scandal thing. Like, honestly, it would not, because first of all, we don't know if it was a girl group, so we can't even assume, but let's say that it was a girl group who disrespected Stray Kids. I honestly would not be surprised if it's simply because they at all costs want to avoid dating rumors. Like, they don't even want to interact with male idols, and that male idols, many of them might not want to interact with female idols just to avoid it. Like, I would not be surprised. Just putting that out there, because I have not heard a single person say that. And like I said, we don't know if it was a girl group. It could have been another boy group. It could have been anyone. And I think a lot of people don't realize it could have been anyone. He did not even specify that it was a group. It could have been one idol. It could have been multiple idols, but from different groups. We don't know who it was. And we're not supposed to, and we probably never will. Because Bangchan would not want us to do what we did to IVE to anyone else. Period. And I'm just tired of all this. I know this video was all over the place. It was kind of a mess. Normally, I would write out scripts and stuff, but I just needed to get these thoughts out. Basically, at the end of the day, IVE are hated on to be hated on, and this whole situation was a mess because stays can be crazy and jump to conclusions, and like, no one should have used Bonchan's words to hate on anyone. So yeah, end of story. I'm done. Please listen to IVE's music, and stop hating on IVE. Okay? Thank you. And see you another time. I'm done.